The control we used solved a number of the problems we thought we were going to have when embarking on this application. But the fact that the UI kind of impacted how we designed our domain begs the question about, well, if you're totally focused on the domain, why would you even be thinking about the UI? But thinking about the UI while we're working on the domain is not the anti-pattern you may think it is.
Yes, we've been focusing on the domain, but frequently the user interface needs to be considered, especially in the early stages of planning. You don't want to try to flesh out the whole domain design before you start thinking about the UI.
In a TechEd session I attended in 2013, Jimmy Nilsson, who's the author of the book Applying Domain-Driven Design and Patterns, talked about the importance of thinking about the UI in the early stages of planning and revisiting it while modeling the domain, rather than ignoring it until the end. In a session, he describes how even the UI sketching he does in the early stages of his application planning can affect the whole design of the system. As we were building the scheduler sample for this course, we actually discovered a huge benefit to considering the UI early in the process. We initially had expected to encounter a lot of complexity in the appointment scheduling problem, but we found a UI control that helped visualize the schedule for the user such that the system no longer needed to be as complex. In our scenario, scheduling is a big part of the application, but it isn't our domain. Our domain is the veterinary clinic. We consider scheduling to be more of a cross-cutting concern and one that could be partially solved through a rich user interface.
We ended up using Telerik's Kendo UI Scheduler widget, which can display schedules in a variety of formats, as you've seen. Initially, our UI was going to be very simple, and we were going to have domain complexity involved in things like finding available time slots or detecting conflicting appointments or double booking. Being able to display the schedule to the user in a rich fashion made it unnecessary for the domain to worry about some of these concerns, since, for instance, the user can easily see where open time slots exist on the schedule. Of course, you don't have to use this Telerik control, or even a commercial control, to achieve this. There are certainly other options available to achieve rich user interfaces for whatever platform you might be developing on.
Thinking about the UI up front and discovering this kind of solution kept us from wasting a lot of time trying to solve certain scheduling problems in our domain. Of course, you don't want your UI to totally drive how you model your domain, but as Jimmy Nilsson notes, you shouldn't ignore it either.